Hi, good afternoon. This is the first session for the Tours and Fest for us, and we are honored to have with us Mr. Prakash Nitin Dhami, the CEO and owner of Himachal Orchard, Art and Money Mahesh Travels in Chamba, Himachal Pradesh. He is an entrepreneur, a sustainable tourism consultant, and a true storyteller. He will be sharing his knowledge about how he built his eco friendly homestay on a mountainside with no road access and how he transformed local life with sustainability tourism, along with sharing his thoughts on eco friendly farming and organic farming. Nitin Dhami, his son, who's also joining us, is an award winning international guide, a COO for Himachal Orchard Hut and Mani Mahesh Travels, who will be speaking about sustainable tourism, safe travel, and all that he's learned from his travels to enhance sustainable tourism at their properties, Orchard Hut Homestay, Mani Mahesh Travel, and the gorgeous Ridgemore Cottage. But with a little ado, let me open the floor for these two really brilliant gentlemen who kind of enshrined rural tourism as well as the SDG 8 and 11 in their entire initiatives and everything they do. So please welcome to the forum and thank you for gracing our forum. Prakash ji, namaskar. I'm going to be doing the Q&A with you.
Yeah, namaskar ji.
Prakash,
yes, please.
Can you tell me what was Chamba's villages when you decided to go and move there with your family?
Yes, when someone is migrating from one place to other, it is not easy. And the local habitat, definitely, they have some irritation also that who has come and just joining us. But luckily, because I have been working in the village as a ecologist and environmentalist, so it was definitely a little bit difficult also. But what we did when we came to the village, we joined them as a villagers. We started doing what they have been doing, and that is even we built the house that is a traditional style, as in the village, having the veranda in front, and so they thought that it's not new, and they can have just adjustment. And then what we did, the other thing that as we were having the land, we started cultivating the crops, wheat, barley, and maize is the major crop of this area. The funny thing that the people living in the village, but they have been bringing the tomato from the market. It is the hard fact of this place. And when I grew that tomatoes here, they were not believing unless until I offer them to eat and to cook it at home. And then after that, it becomes a little bit revolution to them. Next year, I gave them the seedling of the tomatoes, seedling of the brinjal. So living like a villagers, then they said that it's not the common thing with this, it is something extraordinary, and they learn much more. At the same time, when I was having the cows and water buffalo, sheep and goats. But the other major thing which I did for them, that if they have to get the mating of the cows and uh, females, they have to go far away, crossing the river Sal and then reaching other side. It is the full day job. And meanwhile, because animals are our in villages the essential items, and that is the so then I kept bull. I kept the yeah, I kept the male sheep to just getting the benefit to them for their other production of the animals. And at the same time, I was having free range poultry. So all this type of the work doing with them, and addition to it, that whenever there is a community work, because village, uh, we do the community. If we are getting the grass cut as a fodder for our animals for winter, we have to go with our sickle in hand and working with them. And then they will come to our fields and having. So instead of just one family, there are one person from each family, and sometimes it used to be 20 people. So the day that is used to cut is the community work. So when joining all these things, they love it. They understand that this family is not a Shahri family, as we call it, that migrated one and from Shahar.
Yes,
And
share one.
yeah, so this is what they like it. And we also did our duty toward them, as the mission was to promote the sustainability of village life.
So, this beautiful property that you built, which you have built on the values that you enshrine in everything you do, which is the five elements. Can you tell us about the five elements philosophy?
Yeah, it's
Incorporated it into
yeah,
your
yeah.
tourism
It's
and your
it,
properties.
in fact, when we are talking about the five elements: earth, sky, water, air, and fire. So these five elements are very important. It is the supernatural power. We are getting cosmic energy from these all. And there, here in our orchid hut homestay, land is already there, that is the earth. Air is pure. And because of its purity is because of the vegetation surrounding here, lot of trees, even in our farm, but surrounding is also with the trees. Vegetation is there, so pure air is there. And then water, we are lucky that the one river Sol, SWL, that is flowing beneath our, from where we start to the orchard. And one can have the bird's eye view from our terrace, from even from our veranda of our home. So that is the river Sol, that is the water. And we have spring water also to drink. So what is three conditions are there? Now as fourth is coming sky. From our lawn, one can visualize the North Star. One can, yeah, North Star is there, and it is on the top of one mountain, so we can identify it quickly. Sometimes plow is around it there. So this is, and then the Venus seasonally, Orient Belt is visible from here, and this other unknown stars which are visible. So sky is also there. Now, talking about the fire, when we are talking about the fire, it is not that the fire which is burning in our in kitchen for cooking. It is the sun. It is the sun rays coming into this earth is symbolic of the fire. And so earth, sky, water, air, fire, we have all five elements. Just getting out from our room in the lawn, one can have all these things. So, and these five elements are very important in life. So one can get the cosmic energy directly. So this is the one another benefit of this orchard homestay.
I'm going to open up and show everyone what is the beauty that he speaks about. So, Shwini, can I request you to play the presentation, because let's give everybody a glimpse of what Prakash ji is speaking about. Let's play the presentation for Orchid Huts and Mani Mahesh Travel in the true voice of Nitin ji.
Namaste, fellow intrepid travelers. Welcome to our family abode in the scenic Himalayan village of Kuchediara. Himalayan Orchid Hut was developed by a pioneering environmentalist, Mr. Prakash Dhami, a pure labor of love which he runs with his extended family. A successful urban businessman with a passion of nature, he was drawn back to his roots in the mountains of Chamba. Here nestled in the foothills of the majestic Pir Panjal and Dhauladhar ranges of western Himalaya, he created an organic farm and built an eco-friendly home and boutique homestay based on the deep values of five elements: earth, sky, air, water and fire. Himalayan orchard at homestay is made of wood, stone, clay and cow dung in true traditional Himachali architecture. Perched midway up terrace slope at 1200 meter high from the sea level, it is representative of authentic Himachali hospitality enshrined in Dhami family. 20 to 30-minute country walk brings one into our working organic farm and fruit orchard. Enjoy plucking kiwis, plums, peaches, or learn to milk our friendly cow, churn yogurt, make butter, or truly farm to fork experience. This not only sustained our family and guests, it embodied our values of sustainability and eco-farming. Whilst Mr. Dhami create experience to feed the spirit, Mrs. Dhami and her daughter work to nourish the body. Truly farm to fork. Our home-cooked meals are mostly organic, nutritious, and crafted with culinary consciousness. Relax and rejuvenate mind, body, soul, and spirit by simply soaking in our freshwater plunge pool or just chill out on the hammock with a good book. Come collect experiences or enjoy adventures in keeping with our back to nature mantra. Deeply rooted in wellness. Serenaded by the gurgling water of the river Sal, enveloped in the backdrop of the mountains, every experience is planned to offer a genuine taste of Chamba's beauty and culture. As we stop to explore, break bread, we touch the local communities and power them with the livelihood generation. Wordlessly, the experience touches us forever.
This is really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all this space with us. Um, there was something very unique we found in the way you've kind of done this whole thing. And that was something with the young Deva who's our teammate, who actually came there and realized and he brought it to us. Prakash ji, उन्होंने कहा कि unlike most people, the Dhamis aren't scared of competition nor community. वो लोग community को integrate करके they bring the community along with them. They take the community along with them. Will you please tell us, why do you feel that a part of your success is because you planned taking this community along with you? How did you bring the community in? and have kept them there?
Yes, Sonia ji, when we are talking about the community, and it is very much linked with our what the program we are running now, that is the sustainable development goals. If we are not connected with the community, we cannot do something much more about this sustainability. So, to bring the community with you, you have to indulge yourself within their culture, their what is their heritage, what type of society they have. So, I think that, and moreover, these villagers they live in open and myself as I have been loving the nature and I love the nature and I love the simplicity. So I am interested to work within the community and I am thinking that more community people will come with us to join the sustainability of tourism. It will be helpful.
Prakash ji, my question is, आपने उनको कैसे किया? Because Himachali, sorry, no disrespect meant, are very private as a community. So, for example, even if I'm with the committee, I've heard even government officials speak that they're not able to get into the community. It's a very private community. Gujjars के साथ रहेंगे, गद्दीस के साथ रहेंगे. How did you penetrate? आप कैसे? How did you manage to integrate and penetrate with them and then bring them along with you?
Yes, this is, as I told you, that it's not the question of community. Even you have to bring one family with you, one person with you. You have to understand their habits, their style of living, and if you yourself is not getting all that to do as they have been doing, they will not accept you. They will not listen you properly. So I remember that when I am going in Gaddi's village, I have to tell and to talk with them in Gaddi dialect. I know that. And when I am going in the Gujars, you have seen in this, there are some Gujars, and Nitin is just doing some talk with them. One of the helpful thing to me, because I remained a social worker, I had been working for ecology. I have been providing the camping to them, uh, getting together and talking about their livelihood, taking interest that how they can develop. So all these are the things that people started just trusting me. And now even before coming in tourism, before doing my business, I'm talking about before the 1970 school times and college time. I had been working as a social worker, going to the hospitals, arranging the blood if someone is in need of blood. Those were the days when the doctors were less, nurses were less. So I had been working as a male nurse also, just assisting the doctors, just taking the patient to one place to other place. So all these things matters and it helped me to be within the community. The other major thing is when there is any function, you have to go within the norm. I mean, if that is the function of some marriage and you are not dancing in that way as they have the dancing thrill or something, if you're doing something different there, that will be annoying, that will be not. So uh, we have to be like that. We love their culture. We should uh, tell our thoughts also to them that what we are going to do in positive way. If you want to put something and just to forcibly, then no one will come with you. Right, Aditya?
Beautiful said. Beautifully said. It actually gave me a whole different perspective to social growth and social initiatives that we often forget. The part where we talk about intangible beauty that one can give to each other, which is understanding heritage.
Excuse me, I cannot hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Sonia.
Nitinji, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Prakashji, can you hear me now?
It was broken a little bit. Please repeat again.
Okay, I was saying you taught me something very beautiful. Normally, when we think of social service or the social service framework, we have it in a very professional manner as a Bible, and we evolve with that book. But today, you've given us insights into the intangible, the subtle, the most insightful, like learning the language, following their norms and traditions, understanding their culture, living within their norms, interacting at big events, and most importantly, speaking their language in the truest sense of the word. And like you said, your reputation speaks before you. So the years of work that you did as a social service person has actually brought it together. Beautiful, beautiful insights. My last question, I feel really sad sharing this last one. I'll do some more chatting with you later on.
Yes.
Is that today, in a post COVID world, what should be the framework for rural tourism? So, if there was someone who was going to go to the next village and start a rural tourism setup, what would they do? What should they do? What should be the routes they create? What should be the values they live by? What should be the vision they have? And how they can actually create impact in this with rural tourism?
I think that it's a very important question, and the much more important is this: that when we are talking about the tourism, the people think about the big hotels and big cities and monument only, and teaching us that we should not pollute the monument, we should not do this thing, and we should live in. But I think that to bring the change to India, especially, I'm talking about this our country only. Rural tourism is much more important, and when we have to promote other also, only the thing which should be very, very cautious, we should be very cautious about this, that we should not make much more use of the modern things. As some of the, in 2008, when Himachal government took initiative to make more homestay, I had been going as a faculty. I had been teaching the people in the village sometime through the tourism department of Himachal Pradesh, because remaining the pioneer in this line, so they have full regard. Then we initiate 20 homestay in 2008. But unfortunately, uh, because of some their own style, they made in such a way, the some of, not all, they made it cement structure, and it is just looking something as stores. I mean, when someone is in village, he has not to do much more as a prisoner. Again, I'm sorry to say that five-star hotels of the whole world is the same. If you enter, then you are in somewhere in the same style of the rooms. Outside, it may be
Cookie
different.
cutter.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying, cut short, that in we should develop the tourism in the rural areas, which will bring the foreign currency. Economically, our people will stand up, but we have to keep two, three things: hygienic conditions, and if they are using much more that type of material which they have to bring from other place, that is not good. Ecologically, we should use the mud, we should use the stone, we should use the timber, but that is also keeping in view, it should not be in abundant. It should not be just a stress upon our environment. But we need more and more, and we are trying that the difference should be already there. My house is little bit, it is toward the northeast side, someone can be the west east or something different, and then material available there is something different. So we should make it a just like a what you call kaleidoscope on this Himalaya, not a monoculture. We have not to go for monoculture. Otherwise, there is no difference. but there is big scope of rural tourism. A lot of work has to be done.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much for your time. Ajay is going to take over and speak to Nitinji about Mani Mahesh Travels. I have a request to everybody. If you have your questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box, or last few minutes will be open. The floor will be open for each one to share their thoughts and questions. Ajay, over to you. Ajay, you're on
I
mute.
hear you, Ajay, you're on mute.
Yeah. Hi, Nitin. Can you hear me?
Namaskar, Ajay. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Hi. Now I know, where you get all your energy from your father. I think it's in your blood and your roots. So,
That's
but you have big boots to fill in. He has done such pioneering work. So you have to really work hard. It's a pleasure to talk about Chamba and Dhami family. Uh, Chamba was, in fact, one of the first hill stations I went to when I was about 6, 7 years old, as my Mamaji was posted there as block development officer. So I still remember it very, very beautifully. And I went many times after that. Beautiful land. And I'm glad you're doing so much to promote tourism and to promote ecotourism there. As far as Chamba is concerned, it's absolutely stunning and beautiful. I've never seen such landscapes, but it suffers in comparison to the other popular hill stations like Shimla or Kasoli. It's a pity because if somebody goes there, they'll remember it forever and keep on going Chamba only and not to those commercial hill stations. So, Nitin, so you have very, very, big boots to fill in. How is the progression taking place? Tell us, what has the next generation of Dhamis, like your generation, as compared to your father, brought into this whole initiative?
First of all, namaste, everyone. Namaste, everyone who's have joined us. It's my honor to be on the Rice World Summit here. It is a great opportunity provided by Sonia ji and Ajay ji to us to bring ourselves into the world through this medium, with this social media and this medium. When we talk about the next generation, definitely I'm the next generation, and also my siblings who are older and younger to me as well. So in terms of this initiative which my father brought into us, we as in a younger generation from him, but again, me and my father are not that much in the social media generation era as much as my sibling, my younger and all. And the next generation which I personally brought here is that I brought our ideas a little bit outer in the world, from where we could bring people in to the world. And also definitely with my travels, I brought some of the ideas from outside, where I've learned, as I call, word is my university. I learned from people, from the places I visit. So I brought some of the ideas from there also back to our initiative. Simultaneously, my younger brother, actually, he brought another thing into it, which is a social media and the impact of social media. He's the one who is born into social media era. And he is kind of bringing a lot of things into it as well. Simultaneously, if we talk about the COVID time, some new ideas, some of the new ideas we have, that is like some of our handicraft, some of our craft, which is not gone famous too much, or which is not even like something very beautiful like Chamba rumal or metal, but there's so many other craft as well. Let alone we make a beautiful cushions out of corn shells and all these kind of things. We should consume, so that way we can actually provide sustainability to the villages also. Simultaneously, there are people who are interested. It's like, oh, what is this? People who never seen it. I personally, even if I travel sometimes long journeys, I use that cushion with me, because it's very healthy for you to use such kind of cushion when you're sitting on it, because it's porous. It does not give you some other health problems. So these kind of things I brought it. And my brother now, what he brought, especially with the COVID, he start selling online as well as by door to door as well. He brought some of those products, some of our preserves, organic fruit preserves, plus organic products, as well as some of the community organic products also. He started taking out through the social media, as well as he have this new idea that he can go and sell those things to support, especially if there's any kind of atrocity like COVID or anything happens. So this is what we, as in a brainstorming, me and a kind of middle generation can say, and then my brother who is a younger generation, we have been trying to do and bring these things into the picture and into the initiative.
That's great. Yeah, in fact, since you have traveled the world, I think you have brought a little bit of something into Chamba from all those experiences. That's really nice. So not many people know that you're a very experienced and competent trekking guide as well. And Chamba as a destination, I mean, people are not aware that it's a heaven for soft as well as really spectacular treks. So tell us something about your trek experience. What is to be seen? What is the highlight? What is the best places in Chamba to do all this adventurous activities?
I love this question. Ajay, kudos, what a question.
So first of all, as a little introduction of Chamba, Chamba is into the western part of Himachal, very much adjoining. We share the borders with the bit of border with Punjab, and the very large border we share with the J&K as well. It is not very famous as Kullu Manali or the part of the Himachal is gone famous, but yet as Ajay has been here and he's in love with the beautiful nature of Chamba and the landscape of Chamba, Chamba is a springboard for all soft and long and tracks, short tracks and everything. Whereas in Chamba, you can actually, because Chamba, the valley of Chamba is actually, geographically it's in the valley. The Chamba town and even the Chamba district also have two major rivers. One is called Ravi, which all the way goes to Pakistan. And there's another river called Sul River, which feeds to Ravi. These are two major Ravis. One comes from Chura area, one comes from all the way to Bada Bengal, which actually got a lot of rivulets and other major rivers come into it, like Budjal River, which come from Brahmore area and all. That comes into Chamba, and that is actually a great we have a great culture formed alongside the river and everything. And from those river valleys, we have two sides. One is Dholadar ranges, which you can cross and you can go all the way to Kangra area, the whole belt of Kangra, which you can reach Shahpur, Dharamshala. McLeodganj is the biggest hub where a lot of people actually track from Chamba or they track from McLeodganj, especially they come to Triund, Laka, Indrahar Pass, which is very, very famous, and then cross over Indrahar Pass and come into the one of the bank place called Garola, which is near to the village of Holi, where you arrive on the bank of Ravi River and you can travel towards Chamba as well. Now, the other side, we are surrounded by the Pir Panjal ranges, which is also one of the beautiful ranges of Himalayas and which takes us towards the greater Himalayas, towards the Zanskar ranges and all. So once you cross the Pir Panjal ranges, you can actually go all the way towards Jammu Kashmir. You can go towards the Chenab Valley, which is also some part of Chenab Valley, is part of Chamba as well, which is called Pangi area. Beyond Pangi, we go to the Zanskar area. But when we cross the Pir Panjal, you can do the track all the way up to Padum. I have done tracks 16 days, 18 days, all the way up to the Padum, all the way up to the Chandratal, and it's a beautiful unspoiled tracks. Again, there's hardly, I will say, the trickle of the people as compared to the other part of the trekking areas come to Chamba and track to the area. There's still areas which maybe the tourists might not have been there. Simultaneously, we have also holy lakes, lakes which are associated with Lord Shiva, lakes which is associated with the lakes which is associated with the goddess Kali. As Chamba is known as a Shiva Bhumi, is a known the abode of Lord Shiva here because of the Manimesh and everything. So we have so many lakes, which is all pilgrimage lakes also. So there are pilgrimages, Manimesh definitely very, very famous. And there are other lakes which are not gone famous among the pilgrimages from Punjab or central part of India or somewhere. People are coming who are devoted towards the like towards the Kali lakes and all, or kunds, we call them Kali kunds and all. But beside that, also when we take people also, we create some kind of experience for people. We have groups of students. We have groups of students from abroad also. I remember there was a once we have a group from Jersey Channel Island, girls college only, and we were going for 8 days track. Though it was a track and tour. We start from Delhi. We have some parts of Delhi and Amritsar also in it. But then we came to Chamba, and from there we went all the way to Pir Panjal ranges. But it's a circular track. It was within Chamba. We crossed one part of the range and then we went up there, and it was a transforming for those girls, because those girls, they set out their step from their very comfortable bubble, especially coming from England. They live in such a very privileged life there. When they come out from those bubble, come to India first, come to Delhi first, and culture shock and everything, and once they come for trekking, they have never used trekking boots or something like that before, or they have never seen mountains like as high we have here. But when we trek through that, the first day of meeting those girls, after trekking over those beautiful mountains, reaching the cohesiveness of those girls, first day they were totally different. By the end of the trek, they were transformed to the different human beings as well. And then just the small things, like girls being girls, how to control themselves into the track, or themselves itself, even a silence in the mountain, feel the silence of the mountain and everything.
Since we're short of time, I'll give me there's so much to see in Chamba, and your Himalayan orchard is spectacular location wise and experience wise. So let's tell the people, the 5 major highlights of being there at Himalayan Orchard Huts. Like, suppose the treks, the Gaddi experience. Not many people know that Chamba is the hub of the nomadic shepherd tribes who migrate, actually walk from and cross all the, from the Dholazas into the Zanskar range and come back in the summers. So, and the arts and crafts, of course. I think most of the people must have heard of the Chamba, Rumal or something in the movies and all. So just tell them quickly about that.
As an old principality, Chamba started 920 AD. That was the town part area, but Chamba itself was started in 600 AD by Meru Verma. So over the period, we have developed so much heritage, so much culture. So the highlights, once someone was staying with us at Himalayan Orchard Hut, definitely there are benefits they have it, that it's actually a stone throw away. They can just walk into the Gaddi's house. They can walk into the Gujjar's house to see the culture, the Gaddi and Gujjar culture, which evolves in Chamba Valley. Also, people who are interested into the handicraft, through the efforts, one of the small society or organization we run, we have also encouraged people towards Chamba Rumal and metal craft and other craft as well. So people who are interested into the craft, they can go and see the craft as well. People who are into the ancient history, everything, they can come and study the temples. People who are into the spiritualism as well, they can also go easily. It can be a big springboard. Himalayan Orchard Hut is a kind of a springboard for the people. They can actually stay here and sprung out from here. People can just sit and enjoy and rejuvenate themselves with all these 5 elements, as my father just explained about the 5 elements. They can just sit here, have a dip in our spring-fed plunge pool, or sit in a hammock and soak in and read a book away from the hustle bustle and the maddening crowd of the city and the pollution. They can come and recharge themselves and rejuvenate themselves also they can learn and do some organic farming. If you want to touch the soil, they can come and touch the soil, or the families come and the kids have never seen it. I have seen kids here who came from cities and says, oh my god, the milk come from there. When we take the kid to see the milking cow, they thought the milk always come from plastic bag, or the egg come from there, or potato, they want to see potato tree. I was like, oh my dear, there's no tree for potato, but there's a plant. So these kind of experiences we curated, and these are the highlights of us. Even for us also, we feel so good when someone come and learn from us something like that.
True. So how are you evolving in the new scenario? What do you see as the new normal? What alternate revenues that you foresee that tourism operators or travel operators or even lodge operators must get in to sustain themselves in case such a calamity comes again? Basically, what's next? What's the plan?
Well, as I already mentioned, that my brother into little more social media and everything and all, and then we have been trying to take we have been trying to take this initiative, not only for us. We started from us because you have to do the experiment on yourself first, then you can actually tell to the others whether it's successful or not. So we started from us, as I told you, that the organic produce we have and the preserve we have and all, and then also the art and craft as well. We can actually start selling it to the people. But same time, I also, especially, I won't speak about the hoteliers, I won't speak about the big travel operators or something like that, but speak for myself and also some of the small rural operators or homestay owners or some community providers, service providers and all. If they can access some of the things which actually great wealth we have, that is to supply. And also, I totally understand the people in rural area will not have that kind of funds to create a website and start doing something like selling their produce and product or something like that. It will be important if our government, or especially tourism department, who they are associated with already, can set up something for them, and then they can actually start bringing those things out to the world as well, as it's all part of the Back to Nature program, where people can get the nature thing. Same time, also, I think this, especially post-COVID, there will be definitely a big requirement. There will be a big requirement from the people from urban area and all to come and stay into spacious areas rather than in hotels and all kind of things. So definitely there's a need, but again, we need to take we need to respect. Both of us need to respect, whether it's a host or a guest, need to respect about the any kind of atrocity, the norms and everything. It's not only about the gloves and mask or hand sanitizer, but there are other level of respect also we need to take of each other.
Right. And what are the challenges that you see that we must overcome to one, enhance tourism to your region, and to grow together as a community?
Well, there are a lot of challenges. First challenge is also the accessibility for Chamba is a very poor accessibility we have.
True.
And the roads are, because we are so deep back in it. That's one thing. Another challenges we are facing also, which is very, very important, is the littering. I think the people of Chamba, and it's actually, it's a give and take kind of thing. The tourists who comes in, if they say everything's littered here and all, and in the countryside, they will also not care. So it's kind of like, you need to lead from the example. So that we need to control big time in Chamba as well, which is coming. And then safety, very, very important as well. Recently, last few weeks, we have heard that some very sad news is that people have lost their life up in the snow area. They got lost paragliding, some child died, all sort of things. So we need to focus on those safety scenarios also, whether it's a soft adventure, whether it's hard adventure also. I think tourism board need to set organization and assign those agencies, those outfitters, that these are the safer, they come on parameters, their guides and their porters are safer to go with, they know the areas and everything, and people should go with them as well. And it should be forced a little bit. So that's very, very important actually. These are the challenges we have right now to enhance the tourism in Chamba.
I see. So I think let's give the people an opportunity to ask questions to Nitin.
Anybody has any questions to ask?
It looks like Prakash ji has a question.
Prakash, please feel free to ask.
I just lowered his hand. Yeah. But it's fantastic. I was almost transported to Chamba. Really, thank you, Nitin ji, and Prakash ji for explaining how you got here and also why we should be there, right? So that's very beautifully explained. And so what are the just some modes of transportation there? So where do we fly in? How do we get there? Is it from Delhi or can we fly in? You're mute.
Sorry. So the easiest approach, especially if someone is coming from Mumbai or something, then definitely we tell them to fly into Amritsar airport, because there's a direct flight. Now the Amritsar airport, being it's an international airport, there are multiple cities, even the international as well, from Qatar, from Uzbekistan, as well as before COVID, there was flight from Singapore and Dubai as well. So the people can actually funnel into, especially international people can funnel into some of the hubs like Singapore, Qatar, Dubai, and come to Amritsar as well. But for the domestic people, they can fly into Pathankot. Unfortunately, there's only 2 or 3 flights within a week they have it. There is a nearest airport also, Gaggal Dharamshala Airport also, which is also getting developed. But at the moment, sometimes the issues are there. So when people are coming to us towards Chamba and this part of the Himachal, we said, come to Amritsar, because Amritsar is also a beautiful place to see. So they can see the Golden Temple and start from so they see all different cultural aspects before they enter into the Himalayas. And then it's kind of a literally gradual journey. They come to the plains, the Gangetic Plains, we call it. Then they come to the Punjab Plains, and then come to the foothills of the Himalayas. And then slowly they come into the other giant mountains of the Himalayas. They come into the valleys and all kind of thing. And also multiple cultures they can see as well. Whether people come from South India, because India is very diverse, so they also love our culture as we love their culture. And it's very different over there as well.
South India reminds me that I am coming through Leh Ladakh. I'm not coming through any other way. Do you know directly there's a lovely route that Mr. Nitin takes a walk through from Spiti to Pangi Valley as well as from Leh Ladakh. So if there are people like me who are adventurous, Leh Ladakh is a great option.
That's true. Yes, that's
Question
true.
that is asked: how many days would you say are required to enjoy nature and culture there? How many days do you think is required for?
It's a very tough question, actually, because we have so much to offer. And if someone want to see, and I think you should ask Deva, because Deva was here almost 45 days and he was still like, I am still hungry for everything. So I think
I know.
week for someone, especially people coming from the working background and everything, I think the week at least required to do the snippets of the things, because in the week you cannot fulfill, but still you will recharge yourself at least, but you will not be, the hunger of your soul won't be fulfilled, but you can recharge within a week at least.
Hema asked a very important question. Hema, how the stay or the whole travel package priced? I would say affordable luxury. They do not overcharge. It's the average homestay you would pay in, say, somewhere in Kerala, because Mumbai homestays are extremely expensive, or any urban homestays. So I know that the Dhamis have a very nicely structured package, which includes hikes, their stay, their food. So I'm going to let Nitin answer this question. Nitinji, what do you think is your, would you say to Hema's question about the budget required to travel to Himachal?
So it depends again, because Himachal have different aspects and different pockets and everything, and what are you doing? And especially when you are trying to promote ecotourism and sustain, we have a staff to look after as well, and then give a sustainability to the village. But yes, in terms of budget, like especially if someone coming through us as well, we incorporate meals at Orchid Hut, which actually mostly are organic from our farm or from the village, as we take and we follow the farm to table, farm to fork concept. So in terms of, it's kind of a mid-budget. One can expect from like a 4K to 5K per day kind of thing for a couple, including accommodation, meals, and everything.
That's about $50 to $60 per day for a homestay, food, everything included.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
And mind you, they'll shower 100K of love on you besides this, so your stay is free, basically.
So thank you very much for this time. I'm going to plug in Deva and Arshif. Thank you for the beautiful video, which you all missed seeing, but we all enjoyed. And thank you, Mr. Dhami, for facilitating the Unknown Planet to do such beautiful work. And thank you for your hospitality. Thank you, everyone who attended.
Thank you, Prakashji. Thank you, Nitin.
It was a good session, incomplete without all of you. Thank you, Ashwini and Rise Summit, for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Ashwini.
Such gems in the world. Thank you, Ajay, for being my co-panelist.